Delineation is defined as a device or combination of devices that provide regulation, guidance, and information to the driver. These devices include pavement markings, highway signing, and post-mounted delineators. The question is no longer whether or not delineation is effective, but rather how to provide the highest quality, year-round delineation system. While roadway delineation represents several devices, application of pavement markings offers one of the highest cost benefits to the motorist. It is the goal of the Federal Highway Administration to have adequate roadway delineation and markings on all major roads at all times. The objective of this videotape is to assist highway agencies in developing a field inspection program to evaluate roadway delineation systems throughout the life of the markings. The major emphasis will be placed on pavement markings. Field inspection is necessary to ensure that marking materials are applied or removed in accordance with the project specifications to produce immediate and long-term effectiveness. It is important to note that poor application of quality material will result in substandard delineation. Part 1 of this tape will cover inspection points, which are important to pre-application of materials, application of markings, and inspection of new markings. Part 2 of the tape covers application of other delineation, maintenance, and inspection, and presents a review of the material presented. Pre-application procedures and policies have a large influence on the performance of pavement markings. Major concerns are material acceptability, pre-markings, clean dry pavements, and temperatures of ambient air, pavement surface, and materials. First, all pavement marking material used should be approved by the state's laboratory or regional center prior to application on the job. Laboratory tests are made on material, binders, glass beads, sealer, primers, adhesives, raised pavement markers, and sign materials. Pavement marking materials are usually furnished from a pre-qualified source in accordance with state highway agency specifications. The materials are tested at the factory, placed in sealed containers, and shipped ready for use. If contractors are used, they should be pre-qualified by your agency. Make sure the contractors use only approved materials and their equipment meets the requirements for doing the job. Samples of materials that are not pre-qualified should be submitted to the state's laboratory or regional center. As a general rule, 3 samples per batch are taken for analysis. It may be necessary to pre-mark the pavement surface before applying a new traffic stripe. Pre-markings help striping machine drivers and spray gun operators to neatly apply required roadway markings. Pre-markings for new roads or pavements must be applied to identify all center lines, lane lines, edge lines, no passing lines, stop lines, and etc. The customary method of pre-marking utilizes narrow pilot lines or dots spaced about 5 feet apart. Pre-markings for new seal coat surfaces generally involve placement of flexible markers at intervals along existing markings prior to the seal coating application. The seal coat material generally will not obliterate the flexible markers. Pavement marking materials should not be applied to dirty pavement surfaces. Laboratory tests have indicated that cleaning the surface of dirt, sand, grit, gravel, and other foreign materials prior to application substantially improves adhesion. New Portland cement concrete pavements generally have a film of curing compound on the pavement surface. This film must be removed prior to application of the marking materials. The width of removal should be the width of the markings plus 1 or 2 inches. The techniques that could be used for cleaning the pavement include hand brooming, sweeping, and air blasting. Generally, for restriping operations, the traffic will remove most of the foreign materials from the pavement. However, problem areas may need additional cleaning. Air blasting from the striping machine's air compressors generally remove most foreign materials. Where asphaltic or chip seal materials are applied to the surface, mechanical sweeping may be necessary prior to applying pavement markings. Intersections and other areas, such as traffic islands, may require hand brooming to remove wind-blown sand and gravel. In addition to being clean, the road surface must be dry prior to applying most pavement marking materials. Markings placed on wet pavements generally will fail after application. There are several test methods to check for moisture in the pavement. A visual examination should be made of the road surface to be marked, especially after occurrence of rain, fog, or dew. Pavements in high humidity areas and in low-lying wet areas should be examined closely for wet surfaces. Aluminum foil or roofing paper may be used to test for wet pavement. Simply tape the foil or paper to the pavement and apply marking material on the foil. Clear plastic food wrap may also be used. Tape the plastic wrap to the pavement and wait 15 minutes. If moisture appears beneath the plastic, the pavement is too wet to mark. Litmus paper placed on the pavement under pressure for about 5 minutes will test for moisture as well. If the paper changes color, the pavement is too wet to mark. Pavement marking materials must be applied at optimum temperatures in order to obtain excellent results. The temperatures of the ambient air and pavement need to be taken only during the morning, unless unusual weather conditions exist. For most materials, the ambient air should be above 50 degrees. Use a road surface thermometer to ensure that the pavement temperature is above the highway agency's or manufacturer's recommended temperature. Applying marking material when the pavement is too cold could cause a poor bond. Temperature measurements of the marking materials require more attention. Any variance from the manufacturer's recommended temperature range could adversely affect performance of the markings or the warranty of the materials. For example, thermoplastic should be 425 to 435 degrees Fahrenheit. Temperature checks of heated materials should be made throughout the project. Applying material when it's too cold results in poor bonding with the pavement. Temperatures that are too high may scorch the materials, causing discoloration or brittleness. To ensure proper heating, check all material temperature gauges daily against a calibrated thermometer for accuracy. Measurements should be taken every 2 hours or less. Record ambient air, pavement surface, and marking material temperatures at the time of application and store in the project files. Another concern is the application of material. Pavement marking materials are divided into several classifications according to their formulations and applications. The decision to use a specific material should be based on individual state policy. Application requirements and quality control techniques generally vary from one type of material to another. Some items to watch for include correct machines for the job, protection of workers and wet markings, uniform distribution and quantity of materials, straight and even lines with sharply defined edges, and drying time of marking materials. In addition, there are other items to be considered for each type of marking material. Nighttime delineation is one of the highest benefit cost safety improvements that can be made on a street or highway. Pavement markings visible in the day will not be visible at night unless they are retroreflective. Retroreflection, or brightness, is obtained by the use of glass traffic beads added to or mixed with the marking materials. Glass beads also increase the durability and skid resistance of markings. Traffic paints are the most commonly used marking material. However, other materials are experiencing increased usage because of their durability. Today, painted markings are used alone or in combination with other marking devices. Newly applied traffic paints should be inspected for no-track times and uniform distribution of drop-on glass beads. Thermoplastic markings are a cost-effective alternative to conventional paint marking when durability is a critical factor. All thermoplastic materials placed on concrete pavements and concrete-like aged asphaltic pavements should have a primer coat. The primer coat should be tacky dry to the touch, similar to adhesive tape, before applying the material. Also check newly applied thermoplastic materials for air bubbles. If air bubbles appear on the surface of the material, the pavement is too wet and the job should be shut down until the pavement dries. Polyester and epoxy are two additional types of markings. Polyester has been used with success in northern states. Both are durable but have special application requirements. The high temperatures necessary to achieve a molten state for thermoplastic and epoxy application requires expensive installation equipment and experienced operators. Cold plastic striping materials, such as preformed plastic tape, eliminates this requirement, needs no hardening time, and under certain circumstances, exhibits a high level of durability. Preformed cold plastic markings can be installed by the inlay or overlay method and can be ready to receive traffic immediately after installation. These markings should only be used where adequate illumination is provided on the road or street. The inlay method is used with new construction or resurfacing of asphalt concrete surfaces. While the asphalt is still warm, about 140 degrees, the pressure-sensitive, self-bonding tape is rolled into the surface of the pavement. Priming of the pavement is not necessary. The overlay method is employed on existing older pavements.